The topics and opinions expressed on the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4WN Radio, its employees, or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4WN Radio.
Are you ready to take a journey? Let's connect with the healers of the world. It's that time. It's time for the Language of Healing on W4WN Radio and Talk 4 TV. Now here's your host, Dr. Nicole Fortin.
Hello, and welcome to the Language of Healing. You're tuning in on the Women for Women Network, W4WN.com, and we are here today with, after a bit of a hiatus, because life has some ups and downs and moments that take you astray. So today, I think it's the perfect time to recenter, reset, come together. And this time of year is the fall season, autumn time. It's, we just went through the equinox. Today, September 24th, 2024 is the last quarter moon, which, we're coming into a phase of really just like letting go, release, and reset. And so I think with the timing of all things considered, it's a good time to balance in, check in. And Chinese medicine is all about, and Chinese medicine and philosophies, Taoist principles, any culture that observes the stars, the sky, the natural rhythms of life will recognize this time as a period of letting go and release. Just like the leaves fall off the trees, it's time for the harvesting, all of the things that we've accumulated and gathered and grown since, the springtime, since we let those seeds plant into the earth and watch them grow and become abundant. Now is the time we get to reap that harvest and be grateful and have gratitude for everything that's come to us our way. This time of year, people are often like, oh my goodness, where's the year gone? What, maybe those dreams and inspirations, those New Year's resolutions that you had at the beginning of the year are not yet have come to fruition. However, every step is valuable and worthwhile, and things show up in life that maybe don't make sense, and unpredictable natures that we don't really have control over. So I think that today I wanted to share about the aspect of the metal element, because the metal is the season of fall. So before we get into that, I'm kind of rambling and getting on. I have a lot to say about this. I have great reverence for the metal element. Not only is it metal, but it is this true gem of life that is often forgotten amongst all the other elements. Often we'll see the four elements, and this is like the fifth element. So let's dive in with our great co-host who is here today with us, the Pipe Man, aka Dean Piper. Hello.
Hello, and you passed my test.
What was
you
the
passed
test?
my test. I wanted to see if you were looking at the people watching us or looking at me down below backstage as I was doing this the whole time you were talking.
Well, I didn't see that actually.
I know, I could tell, because you would have been way distracted and you would have reacted to it. So that's why I'm impressed. You did a good job. I have to say,
out of sight, out of mind.
I have to say, too, I was very confused, and now you cleared it up for me. Thank you for that great intro, because I was all prepared, because like right now I'm in Louisville, Kentucky for Louder Than Life. And I thought that was why you were talking about metal in the show. And so maybe other people here. So I got to clear that the show is not about heavy metal in Chinese medicine. Although I have to say
but it is.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
do have to say it's
It's
the
like
best
a
therapy because,
yeah.
like, as a for instance, when I go to a music festival, no matter what crap is going on in my life, it allows me to disappear and avoid it. Just like I was going through stuff lately. I missed part of Riot Fest on the Pipe Man radio tour. I went to the last day, which was the first appearance of Slayer in 5 years, and all day I was doing interviews, so I didn't have a chance to think about anything. That's my advice to people too. Is you know, listen, all my life I've avoided personal problems by diving into work. And it doesn't have to be work, but dive into something that distracts your attention. People that just sit around and do nothing, you're just making it worse. Like if you can divert your mind's attention, you can escape it for a while. So that helped. And then Slayer, first time in 5 years, I went into a pit and took out every bit of emotion that I had and left it there in the pit.
Hmm.
I also want to say you were talking about the moon, okay? And I was laughing this morning because there's a bunch of conspiracy posts. You got to love these idiots out there who don't believe that there's global warming when we're hitting record levels of heat and record levels of cold. See, those conspiracy people and the people that don't believe, they don't understand what global warming is. It doesn't have to mean just heat. It's the changes in the weather pattern. So the extreme cold that we've experienced is also part of global warming. But here's the new conspiracy theory and something you can clear up about, Nicole, because you were talking about the moon, is that we're going to have for a brief period of time. I forget how many days, you might remember, Nicole, but I think in like 47 days, we're going to have two moons in the sky. Did you know that?
I heard about this, that it's an asteroid that will come into orbit
Really? I
for that
didn't.
period of time.
I read it is actually supposed to be another moon.
Oh, well, I read that it was an asteroid
And you may be
that was
right
coming,
because
but
I didn't
however,
dive
like, I
deep.
don't know, just a celestial object that's coming in, like the orchestra of life makes no sense sometimes. So let's just
No
receive
argument
it
there.
some power. Yeah. Yeah. I think you're really gonna like enjoy this episode today because I know you have had some stuff going on, and a lot of people are moving through some very impactful changes in their lives. And the metal element, the before getting too deep, it's like the element, the emotion, the theme of metal is grief and sadness and how we move through that. And this is a time of like
I moved through that
it's
in the
just
Slayer mosh pit. That's
yeah,
why I
exactly.
moved through
Because
grief.
like that's how you have to, emotion is energy in motion. So you need to move through that and not let it get stuck, repressed, or like, block the natural rhythms of life because, that's it's
And
not
I have to
always easy.
interrupt you for 1 second because a little birdie just told me
Hmm.
that it is an asteroid but it won't be visible to the naked eye. So that's gonna just fuel more fire for these stupid conspiracy theorists because when they can't see it, they're gonna say, See, it is a conspiracy just like global warming. It doesn't exist, neither does that second moon. And as soon as I
So
fall off the edge of the earth, you'll know that.
what's the point? Like, what are they saying about the second? Like, what is the like?
They're just
What
like
is the
comparing it to global warming. That's just another Democrat thing to create these stupid
like a
things.
myth?
Yeah.
Like a
Not a myth, just they make it like the stuff's made up for political reasons. I hate how everything is political nowadays. Okay. So, perfect
well, I mean, you
example.
live in the US. I think that you're like almost
That's
political right now.
that's what I'm saying. Let me tell you
Yeah.
what happened on the plane here from Chicago. Well, before I got on the plane, I'm sitting in at the gate. I have my AirPods plugged in, okay, and so I could charge them for the flight. And the person sitting next to me, literally, without asking, without permission, anything, unplugs my plug and plugs theirs in. Now, they also hit me at a time that a lot of crap happened recently that they're very lucky that I didn't lose my crap. Because, first of all, not only is that rude, it's disrespectful, and I would never, ever touch somebody else's things. This is why I've said to people, I'm like, I think everybody needs to spend some time in prison because prison has more respect. The inmates in prison have more respect and more ethics and more values than anybody out here. And, the way they kind of handle it works. It's like if you touch somebody else's stuff, you're going to get a lock in a sock, which is basically they put a lock in a sock and bash you upside the head. Maybe if this person had a threat that was going to happen, they might not have touched my things. Just saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. The problem is I'm in an airport. I can't say anything, do anything because I'm worried about getting in trouble. So somebody like that gets away with it because I said nothing and did nothing. And, the fact of the matter is somebody commented on my post. Like, this is the same person that when we had lightning in Florida, and they live in Florida, did a Facebook post and said, see, that's Bill Gates controlling the weather. And I commented and I'm like, you do realize you live in Florida, right? Like lightning is kind of normal here. But in this instance, that same person commented, and it was a long comment. Everybody else is like agreeing with me. This person's like, I would have just like very nicely asked them what made them want to do that. Like, really? In what world do you live in that would make any sense? That's number one. Number two, that wasn't the bad part. Then she says, because he was probably a Democrat. Like, really? Like, what makes you think that just because they did something like that, they're a Democrat? It's the stupidest thing I ever heard. As a matter of fact, I commented back, I'm like, I have Republican friends, Democrat friends, I have all of them. Not one of my Democratic friends ever would that I know of would ever do that. It's not in their, Democratic policies to touch other people's stuff and unplug their stuff so they can plug theirs in. As a matter of fact, this person is very enamored with is exactly who would do that. Okay? So, sorry to go off topic a little bit, but it's kind of like, it's going along with what you're saying. There's an energy going on now in the world. Like, about one thing that happened to me. And the thing that happened to me was on Friday the 13th, which was already going to not be a great day for me because it was my best bro's birthday that passed away last year on the 15th. So I had a repeat of last year, maybe worse. And then the next day, so weird what's going on in the world. There's a festival that I do in UK where basically, I know the person that runs media very well and known her for years. She's one of the most amazing human beings. She passed away on the 14th. And I didn't go this year because I was at my daughter's wedding, so I never got a chance to see her or say goodbye, type of thing. But there's a lot of weird energy going on right now. So I'm glad you're talking about this. And to me, to wrap that part up, the solution to all this for me is metal, but not the same metal you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. No, it's like the aspect of metal, the essence, the character, and and metal represents like what's valuable, the inner gems, the hidden gems. And sometimes like, music is associated with the metal element. Along with like, so there's grief and there's sadness, but like some of the other aspects of it are like the characteristics of being rude, dishonest, versus a balanced metal element is honest, like you see in the pit, or like the metal community is such a family, like no man left like down, right? So there's a lot of great like correlations and similarities between that. What's really the metal represents emotional maturity. To me, it's like really being able to balance like the rational and the emotional. And that's like a skill you'll see. And I feel like, especially I notice around the holidays, like we're getting into the time of year that people are really like reflecting, and they're deep, and they might be um, irritated, frustrated, going through all this stuff and not responding very
Depressed.
wisely. Yeah, depressed. That's also an emotion of the
Highest
metal element.
suicide rate is the
Yeah,
holidays.
yeah, exactly. Because it brings up so many. It's like your hidden trauma, your hidden memories. It's like deep unconscious realm. We talk about like the fire. Everyone knows the fire element, earth,
Are you talking about
wind,
that
water.
fire right there?
What fire you got?
Superman.
Oh, Superman. Okay. Oh, looks like a funny thing. Move your microphone a bit. Like just that image with the horn looks funny. Okay, yeah, here we go. Superman. Okay. Nice. Well, there's yes, be super. Be a man. Be a Superman.
Unless you're
Okay,
a female, then be Supergirl.
sure. Yeah, of course. Super you, just like the best ultimate you, the most metal you can be, which is like dusting off. It's like oh my gosh, I have so many things to like say about this, but let me ask you a question, because maybe you can help us like tune into the energy of the metal a little more. It's really, metal is like really about what we value, and this time is about remembering. So like, what do you, Dean, remember most that has been important to you?
That's metal or
Sure.
just important to me?
Just important to you. This is the time to like
Right
reconnect
this
in with that.
second, right this second,
Sure.
my grandson.
Yeah. It's the most important. Good. So that's
And,
the
and,
gold right now.
and he was metal too.
Very metal. Wear your battle vest.
Yeah. And he went to festivals with me, and he interviewed Parkway Drive and Five Finger Death Punch and Tremonti and Joyous Wolf and a bunch of other bands. And yep. So he was metal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Ugh. Yeah, a gem. A true gem. So yeah. It's the
Now you're
moment of,
sorry you asked that
I
question because
know.
I
No,
got
I'm
you all
not. I'm not.
emotional.
I think when that strikes a chord, and that's like requires almost like a deep, I don't know, thoughtful pause and reflect, remembering. It's like, even we have Remembrance Day. I think that's in the US too, right? November
Yeah, but
11th.
we don't care about it. Oh,
Yeah.
November 11th. Do we call that Remembrance Day? Mostly we call it 9/11. Do we, Juan?
No, that's 11/11.
9/11.
It's
It.
no,
Yeah.
that's
Didn't
September
you
11th.
say? Yeah. Oh, I
What?
thought you said nine. I thought you said 9/11. See,
No, November. Sorry, November 11th.
November 11th is Veterans Day.
Yeah, okay, Veterans Day. We call that Remembrance Day. Not
Don't
that
worry
that's
about it,
related.
Juan. You already missed it. I already screwed it up. Okay. He's telling me he's on the phone. He didn't hear me.
Okay,
He's
so,
what? He's saying what? So I'm like, never mind,
okay,
Juan.
so
We're past
can
that.
I just like say right now that okay, so it's been really about 6 weeks since we've done an episode of the Language of Healing, and since then we have a new engineer. His name is Juan. he's,
And he's
he's in the
not paying
background.
attention.
And we have a little chat on the side. It's just so funny.
Yes, for you
Uh,
people watching and
so
listening, he's chatting to us on the side like he's our voices in our head. So that's what I was referring to. It really wasn't my schizophrenia that time. It was like I don't have anybody named Juan in my head. Close, maybe Jose, not Juan. Uh oh.
Well,
Oh
he's
no,
here with us.
he
You
some
summoned
I think God's about to talk
Juan.
to us.
Juan,
I
say
think God's
hello.
about to talk to us.
I am your conscience.
That's what he said to me when we first got on the line.
That's good shit.
Okay. Whew. Okay. That's
And I want
funny.
to thank you, Nicole, because I was talking about like bearing in work and when you're doing interviews and stuff like that, you're not thinking about this other crap and you have to ask a question that makes me think about it. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm okay.
forgive
For the
me.
net
I
for the
mean, this
next
is,
half an hour, I'm okay.
yeah. Okay. Well, I know it's not intentional. It's just very coincident. I think it's real life. I know many people right now going through some, like, significant losses in their lives, or illnesses, or like separations and mega shifts and changes.
Oh,
And
there's a lot of it out there.
yeah, so I think that it's really like relevant, and maybe it's a sensitive topic, but there's a lot of true healing in it, and this is the language of healing. And when we can use something in real time to work through it, like that's true
why I'm
essence
here
of
today for
life. Yeah.
for my healing on the language of healing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here today.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question now?
Okay.
Okay.
Sure.
So, why is it they call heavy metal heavy metal? They should be really calling like calypso music or reggae heavy metal because they have those heavy metal drums.
Yeah.
So why wasn't calypso called heavy metal?
I don't really know, but
Okay, I
that's a
asked the
good
wrong
point.
person. I asked the wrong person then.
But I would say from my perspective, heavy metal, because metal to me inspires like an aspect, like a movement within me that is very like cutting and sharp. It's like a sword that can really pierce through like deep
That's
emotions
so
or
funny
stuff
you said that, actually. No, seriously?
Yeah.
Because one of my interviews showed up all over the news because I interviewed Carmine Appice, who is a drummer from way, way back, is incredible, legendary drummer. And on my show, he said that Black Sabbath was not heavy metal, in his opinion. And that made all over the news because apparently people don't like that. He said he felt that heavy metal started with Metallica because of the buzzsaw sound that Metallica had. So as soon as you said that, to me, it related to that because, the buzzsaw cutting through and stuff like that. So there you did tie it all into heavy metal music. Look at that.
I know. I mean, it's legit.
I'm
This is
impressed.
yeah. And
You needed these few weeks off because this is probably your best show ever.
I honestly, I took the time, like I dedicate my heart and soul, like everything about me is like what I do. I put my 100% in it, and sometimes I'll give myself slack for being lazy, but I don't think anyone around me would ever really call me that because I'm nonstop go. I've accomplished thing after thing after thing. That's probably my way of distracting myself from like, true what weighs me down, right? It's like keep moving through stuff. But anyway, I just, I also had things pop up in my life that were unexpected, unpredictable, and with a sense of urgency. So I felt, as hard as it was and as hard as it is sometimes to say no to things, you have to be able to say yes to yourself and yes to what you need to do. And it's easy for me to take on a lot of stuff. And anyway, that I'm sure can relate to a lot of people. It's not just me and it's not just you. It's like this is a mega collective energy.
There's
right
lots
now
going on.
Yeah.
And by the way, I have to say, that I'm a little perturbed right now because I'm finding that Juan is much more conscientious for your show than my show because he like
Uh-huh.
immediately pulled up the article if we wanted to use it.
Okay. I like this one. Which article? Oh, you're the best. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay.
But look, The Adventures of Pipe Man,
RIP.
W4CY Radio, The Pipe Man.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is where he's saying that Black Sabbath is not heavy metal. What is the time frame, Mr. Genius here? When did Black Sabbath start? When did Metallica start?
Well, Black Sabbath started in 1968. And I have a trivia question for you.
And Metallica's 74.
74? No, but
Okay.
we'll get to that. I have a question for you. What was Black Sabbath's original name? It does pertain to this show, actually.
Oh.
I knew you wouldn't know it. Earth.
No. I don't know it, but of course I know it somewhere in my deep subconscious.
Yeah,
I've
you're not
heard
even
before.
paying attention. I just said it.
Oh.
Earth.
Yes.
Metallica officially started in 1981.
Okay. 1981. All right. Well, shows how much I know.
Yeah, well, good thing you're not doing a metal show and you're doing
You know what
a Chinese
what my
medicine
metal
show.
is? You know what my contribution to the metal world is my movement and my presence and my showing up and my
Okay.
admiration for the musicianship.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Thanks
how
for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Because you did show up at Rocklahoma. So
I did show up at Rocklahoma.
And you rocked that shit.
Sweaty. Yeah. I did rock that shit. Yeah, I really got into the groove. I released some stuff too. It's always therapy. Music is always
That's right.
Live music is like unlike anything else.
Well, it's the energy of it, it's the feeling of it, it's the emotion of it. And heavy metal in particular, unlike pop music, because it's so bubblegum and a lot of times doesn't talk about real issues, I don't consider it therapy in one sense. It's therapy in a sense that it's still music, okay? But it's not therapy in the sense of it reaching deep down in your soul. And like, for instance, my favorite lyric of all time is from Bring Me the Horizon, and it's, I can't drown my demons, they know how to swim. That's freaking deep. That's like, that says a lot.
Well, yeah, I think that's also part of the hidden. So this in respect to the metal element of Chinese medicine too, because so it's easy to think about what does like fire look like, earth look like, wood, but like metal, well, you think metal, but I see it like a mountain. It's like the stone, like metal is magnetic, like mountains are magnetic, and there's a sunny side and there's a shadow side. And I wrote in my description because like this time, like if I can, I have also an amazing lyric that stands in my mind that I live by, but we'll come back.
It must be by Rush, because there's no Canadians that can think of anything else but Rush. But
no, it's another one, but the I do love Rush, of course.
That was my something dropping from whatever you said, like just dropped right out of my body.
Okay, so that's great. Just letting go so you can bring in the new. Just drop Rush and the Canadians. Forget them. Just focus on the good old US of A and all the politics.
Who said I wanted to focus on that? Let's just focus on the whole world and human beings.
So let me go here. So because I think this is important, and we're gonna. I think
you should go there
before we're not. Yeah. So the metal element, connects to every element. The 5 elements connects to certain sense organs or organs in our body. Specifically for the metal, it's the lung and the large intestine. So if you think about its theme is emotional maturity, being able to bring in, have like receive and let go. Receive, let go, like breathe in and large intestine lets go. So it's this very alchemical process that happens. And I relate it to climbing a mountain. You know, you want to pack your bag light, and you want to have your lungs able to take in like as much oxygen to get you up the hill, because it's quite, you know, and it's, whether it's a physical mountain or an emotional mountain, spiritual mountain, we all have to make that journey up the mountain, you know. And sometimes there are like the sunny, the shady, the clouded parts of the mountain. It's like how you pack for it. So I think that can relate to how we move forward. This is the time where we're stopping, reflecting, remembering where we came from. We're looking back to move forward so we can create more. And it's the time where we connect in with what's really important to us that we need on this journey. And I don't know, maybe you have experience when you go into the pit, you know, and you bring too many things in with you, you lose your sunglasses. You know?
Yeah. This time was the first time in 3 festivals I did not. And I had my cheap sunglasses. So there's the
What did
moral
you
of the
go into the
story.
slate with? Just like anything?
Yeah, I had my sunglasses in my pocket,
Okay.
but they were cheap ones. Of course, I didn't lose or break them. I also had in my pocket my raincoat because it was raining blood. And but
Of course.
it was really raining at Riot Fest. So um I seriously, what I brought in, if you want do you want the real answer? The real
Yeah,
answer
sure.
is I brought in every bit of anger and sadness that I had and left it all in the pit. And that is, for people that don't understand, that is what the mosh pit's all about. It's not about hurting and maiming people. It's the exact opposite. It's a healthy way to get out your aggression so you don't punch somebody in the face or something, like it was because of me going in that Slayer pit that guy that unplugged my cord did not get punched in the face. Because at that point I was like, I don't need to. But and my lesson to that is because we coop up these feelings, especially men. Okay. Like, perfect example, during the things I had to do this past weekend, my sister-in-law came up to me and she's like, "Oh, you look like you're being very stoic," which is me. Like, I have a switch off the emotions. And the thing is when you have all that pent up emotion that you do keep inside and don't let out because you're putting on your game face or you're in front of children and you need to be strong for them or whatever, if you don't have a release, and for me and a lot of people that release is the mosh pit, it could turn into something very, very bad. And, I think that the beauty of the mosh pit is you can go in there without actually hurting somebody and literally get all of that out. And there was one, I can tell you straight out, there was one person in particular that every single person in that mosh pit, in my head, not literally, had his face on it. And that was my therapy right there, because I could do that in the pit instead of to the actual person, which had it been the actual person, I probably wouldn't be on this show today. So, and I say that because not to be funny.
Sorry,
but
I don't mean to laugh.
it is funny. It's true too. But how many metalheads, their life has been saved by going into a mosh pit because they would have taken out all the things in their life out on somebody, and it could have been very devastating for that somebody, but devastating for yourself too. And so this is a controlled environment where everybody's out to help each other, and you fall, you pick the person up and everything, but you're allowed to get all that crap out. And
Yeah, it's a healthy boundary, which is
yeah,
also a very metal characteristic, that's how it's, and you're moving your body in a way that you don't normally, like, when do you
you
get to,
just
like,
answered the question. You just
what?
answered the question.
You had a
That's
question?
why it's called heavy metal and calypso's not.
Yeah.
Because calypso never feels like making you get your aggression out.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
there it
Yeah, it's
is.
healthy. It's a healthy way to release that energy, because I think that, like, when we see that, oh, I shouldn't be angry, I shouldn't be sad. Not that, I mean, there is room for that, of course, but
They're normal
overall,
human
you have,
emotions.
yeah, of course they are. And they're part of the cycle. And if we don't let them move through us, then we get stuck in it. And then, particularly with the metal element, because it relates to the lung and the large intestine, you may get condition. Oh, and it
Is
also
that what
relates
they
to
call it in China or in Canada? Because we call it the intestine here in the U.S.
oh, really? Yeah. Do you call it skeletal or skeletal?
Skeletal.
Okay.
The
That one
hell is
always
what
made
the
me
hell
laugh.
is skeletal? Is that like
That one always made me laugh. It's kind of a joke, but some
is
people say
that
it like
like
that.
Skittles that you buy at the Lidl grocery store?
The skeletal
Grocery store?
system. Yeah. Taste the rainbow.
Taste the rainbow.
Gosh, what was I saying now? You're like
You were
the
saying about
distraction.
skeleto, and you were saying about intestine. That's where
Oh
I
yeah,
interrupted when you said intestine.
intestines. Intestines. You know what's so funny about? There's so many funny things about Rocklahoma, but I gotta say,
Was it the
only in the
intestine that was the funniest? No, go ahead.
the end of the intestine.
The end of the intestine. Tell me about the end of the intestine. It sounds like a Planet of the Apes movie.
Oh my goodness. I think only in America will you find where you can, like, flash your boobies for beads. But Rocklahoma brought it to a whole nother level
It's not
where they
only
were
in
like,
America. We're prudish here. Go over to Europe. They'll do that all day long just for the
really?
hell of it. Not even for
Okay.
beads. Just go to Barcelona. You don't need to
Okay,
offer
yeah, maybe
beads.
they're like home of the nudie beach. Okay, so say, like, yeah, I'm sure it's
Not
true.
even nudie beach. It's people can just walk around with no shirt on if they're a woman.
Yeah.
And
Well,
think
we
about it.
can too in Canada.
Yeah, you can't
That's
do
a
that in
thing.
America. You get arrested.
Okay.
Are you kidding
Well, I
me?
mean, Canada's, here we go. Freedom. We spell fueled with two L's.
Yeah, well, because you don't understand English, obviously. I don't know. Juan, okay. Have you ever seen fueled spelled with two L's? That's why I would like to know.
I mean, it's a
No, I have
Commonwealth thing.
not.
In fact, when it
Both ways are
comes
correct.
up on Word, does the little squiggly line.
See, when I spell it here with one L, it does the squiggly line.
That's interesting. Well, that's like in the
So it's
UK.
like,
Everything
it's
that's
the
a
UK.
Z is spelled with S. I
Well,
don't know. It looks
see,
stupid to me. Like, realize. Well, that's not an S. It's a Z. It's an obvious Z. Zzz, realize.
yeah, size. I know English is a really, really interesting language. One of the hardest, they say, to learn, because
You know
there are
why?
so many. Why? What do you got?
Because there's more exceptions to the rule than the rule. That's
Yeah,
like if
there
you
you
learn
go.
Spanish, there's very specific rules. And yes, there are sometimes exceptions, but for the most part, you can count on those rules. You can't ever count on those rules in English. In fact, usually the rules are the minority, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and
Yeah.
then there's English for, you know, every part of the United States, even parts of a state, much less the whole world. Like, Spanish. Yeah, there's different types of Spanish all over the world. But like if you go to New Jersey, there are probably 30 different ways to speak English. In New
Mm-hmm.
Jersey, a little teeny state. And then, you
Yeah.
got the people here in Kentucky who don't even know how to pronounce Louisville right. They pronounce it Louisville. It's Louisville. Was it King Louis? I don't think it was King Lul. It was King Louis. Somebody's name's Louis. You don't call him, hey, Lul. You call him Lou or
yeah. So which
Louis.
way is correct? Both ways are correct.
There's actually 10 ways to say Louisville, and none of them are Louisville.
Okay.
The only place they say Louisville is outside of Louisville. I can't even say it totally properly, but it's like there's an L, double L's there that don't exist, kind of like what we were just talking about. Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
So, but there isn't even one L. It doesn't exist.
It's like there's 5 L's and they're all silent.
They convert the S into 2 L's.
Okay.
Is what they do.
All right.
So it's not an S. Why not just spell it that way then? I have a shirt. I do have a shirt that has all the ways to pronounce Louisville, and none of them say Louisville. I grew up Louisville until I went
Louisville.
here.
Well, yeah, I think it's kind of yin and yang, which doesn't really matter. But like, I always thought yang. And then when I learned it was like yang, the same with like Louisville. I used to call it Louisville. And now it's like, oh, Louisville. But Calgary is also the same. You can tell if someone's like Calgary.
I've never heard anybody say Calgary. Maybe Calgon, take me away.
Calgon, the ancient Chinese secret.
I mean, I know a guy named Calgary, but I've never heard of Calgary pronounced. No, I was just making that up.
Okay, I'm like, well, that's
I'm sure there is somebody in this whole world with the millions of people.
Or like, I never finished my thing about the Rocklahoma because they do like the butts, boobies for beads and the buttholes for beads. And they also pronounce it butthole. It's like
and there were way more. There were way more buttholes than boobs.
Way more.
Okay.
Like way more hilarious. I still laugh about it. I've got some connect. We still like, yeah, be a saint. Show us your taint. Like whatever. Yeah.
I think. Well, no, he would have to go to a different thing, but I think even Juan can pull up a picture of boobs and buttholes.
Oh my gosh, no way.
There is a picture on the Pipe Man branding that has boobs and buttholes. So if he finds it and can pull it up, he'll pull it up.
Well, let's see.
I don't think he can because it'll ruin what we got going on here.
Well, I don't know. I think that this all ruined. I mean, not ruined. Nothing. It's perfect, and it's what we need. You know what? Laughter is a good way to release emotion. Crying is a good way to release emotion. I would recommend any of our listeners to, at this time of year, journal, like write, try to get some emotion out. Breathing is a good way. The long, large intestine also connect with the skin. So, like your biggest sense organ of elimination, so like sweating, releasing toxins, breathing,
are you talking about
controlling
pooping?
Your breath. Yeah, sure. Well, pooping because of the large intestine. That's what got me on the Rocklahoma adventures. Really, is like it's all tied into heavy metal here because we're all like we're all family here, and that's metal is just the one of the aspects that we're touching on today.
Mean, will you ruin would you ruin your intestine if you ate metal and then pooped metal out?
Yeah, I think that would be fair enough to say that don't eat physical metal.
Okay.
But if you are going to eat something, now is the time to eat your root vegetables. Eat warm, nourishing foods, cooked foods, nothing raw, squash, pumpkin, beets, bone broth. This is good. This is key to healthy transitions. Protect your neck. Wear a scarf. Because
we have the picture. Do you want to see the picture?
We have the picture.
Does everybody want to see the picture?
Oh yeah, this guy. The bus. The boobies bus. But
it's
the
bus,
triple B.
Boobs and buttholes.
Bus, boobs, and buttholes.
And right
Okay.
below that picture are a bunch of 400-pound hairy men showing their butthole to get boobs. I mean, to get beads.
Oh my goodness. That's so hilarious. So these people, your friends, I was so lucky to also be, taken in by these people. They fed us, and the hospitality in Rocklahoma was like unmatched. I was really that's something I noticed. Definitely not a rude bunch of people.
No, not at all.
Really take care of
Nicest
you.
people everywhere.
The
It's
nicest
because everybody's
people.
showing boobs and buttholes. How could you not be nice when that's happening?
Yeah, but the men and the stripper pole bus, the bus with the stripper pole, and that was like I never saw an actual stripper on there. It was like
You missed it. There were strippers. They were, mostly 400-pound hairy dudes that were
Harry.
stripping, but
Remember the guy that fell off the bus?
I don't think I was there for that.
No, that's the same night you guys fell off the go-kart.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Anyways, that's funny.
I didn't fall off. I held on for dear life, man.
Yeah. You saved yourself. See, you were
No,
trusting your
a girl
instincts.
saved me. See,
Yeah, there you go.
girls
Hey,
are always saving
angels.
us. Girls
Yeah,
are always
girls
saving
are
us. Because
angels.
my psychic power was telling me, like I was about to sit on the edge. I said to her, I'm like, yeah, I don't think it's a great idea me sitting here. Like I saw what was going to happen. So she's like, okay, interlock arms. And we did. And we both stayed on. She was smart because we both stayed on. I'm like, how's that? I'm thinking to myself, how's that going to work? Then we're both flying off. And nope, the person that wasn't interlocked went flying off. Of course, if you're too drunk and you're not paying attention, the beauty of not drinking at a festival like me is number one, that stuff doesn't happen to you. Number two, you get a lot more entertainment because you get to watch all the stupid drunk people.
Yeah. And that characteristic, Dean, is very metal because metal is like trusting your instincts. It's the instinctual body. It's the physical material, the now, the here, and tapping into that. So
thank God I have
we're
that metal plate in my head.
yeah. Well, there you go. See, so that's why you're Superman, right? You've got that's your kryptonite or something,
No,
or not your kryptonite.
no, my
Sorry, that's
kryptonite is
bad.
women. My kryptonite is women, really, to be honest. Especially if they're
All
my
right.
daughters.
Yeah, aw, I know. They got a soft spot in your heart. You'll do anything for them. Yeah.
Even when they piss you off.
Yeah.
Hey, look,
sure.
we have 2 minutes. 2 minutes to midnight. That's very metal.
2 minutes to midnight. We're gonna amazing. Rock out to that.
I think that should be like the last 2 minutes of show. Juan should just play that song in the background.
Yeah.
We can't do it this week, but there's an idea for next time.
Can we do it for next week? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's come up a few times for us, and I think that's also very metal.
That's a good sign, though. Like a lot of times, the signs are, when you do other stuff, is when you start hearing the music playing. It's like it's time to go. So that's what we should do. 2 minutes to midnight starts playing at 2 minutes, and then when you start hearing that in the background, and like, oh, it's time to. Actually, we used to do that a lot when we were just radio and not video on the station because it was kind of better that way, I guess. But that's how we used to do it. We would fade up the outro when it was like 20 seconds left of the show or 10 seconds. And that was your cue to end the show. The problem with that is nobody took the cue. They weren't paying attention. So then the song would just keep playing and playing and playing and playing while they're still talking because they're busy talking and they're not. And that's some advice I have to give everybody right now. Okay. Even if you are talking, pay attention to what's going on around you. You have to be like, you can't always just be in your own world. You do have to pay attention to the world around you. And Nicole knows I'm always like that. Like I can sit in the middle of 20 people and hear every conversation that's going on and know what they're all saying, even while I'm talking. And now you have 10 seconds. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Who needs an outro music when you got Dean?
There you
thank
go.
you.
Okay, so why don't you do your wrap up of today's show?
Well,
your
the wrap
intro
up
to
would
next
be
week's show.
Yeah. So the wrap up of today's show would be, well, there's a lot more. So maybe I'll write a blog about it or something. I love this. We're in this season right now. So join us again week after week, Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on w4wn.com or all the amazing podcasting platforms out there. Next week, we have a very special guest and we're talking about heartbreak. And sorry, Dean, we got another one.
Though that's something I'm very experienced in, so I'm very excited about that.
So maybe that's a little bit of, your kryptonite can show us some valuable experience. Thank you, Juan, for being here with us today and moving forward. We'll hear from our conscience again soon.
I have one last question for you.
Go ahead.
And Juan's going to be mad because I ran this.
It's your station, so you can do whatever you want.
He's used to it with me, but okay. So next week, should I approach heartbreak as Pipe Man or Dean? Because very different experiences.
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's
think about that. Everybody else think about that. And everybody can tune in next week right here on W4WN Radio, where Pipe Man does not belong, at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. You can figure out the other time zones. And it's on Tuesday, right? Today's Tuesday? Oh, okay. Just want to make sure. Okay, Tuesday.
Shine on, you crazy diamonds.
The most amazing host in the world, Nicole Fortin.
Yeah, thank you very much. Shine on. We'll see you next week.
Wow, what a show today. And the journey does not stop here. Come travel the world with Nicole every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time as together we become more fluent in the language of healing on W4WN Radio and Talk4 TV. See you next week.